We passed the Clarity Act in the House before we left for August. We showed overwhelming bipartisan support. Why? Because we know we need the United States to be the leader in Web3 technology, and that means we need a regulatory framework for digital assets here in the United States. This is possibly the most important piece of legislation that the Senate's going to pass in a bipartisan manner later this year. I'd love to see the Senate bring up the Clarity Act again, as passed by the House with overwhelming support. And if they do that, I think what we have an opportunity to do is cement the U.S. as the global leader in the digital assets space. This is incredibly important at a period of time where the United States dominated Web 2. It led to big tech. I don't love all aspects of big tech, but at least they're domiciled in the United States of America. Web 3 is an opportunity to democratize the internet and make sure that that innovation and development is occurring in the United States, providing appropriate consumer protections. And if the Senate acts on the Clarity Act as passed by the House, we have an opportunity to truly unleash the golden age of digital assets here in the United States and maintain the United States as the world leader in the digital assets, but also importantly in the broader tech space as we see this evolution from Web 2 into Web 3.
I've been saying this for a while. The adoption of the cryptocurrency space by each country isn't just a matter of a technological upgrade. It's actually a matter of national security. If you look at one reason the United States is as powerful as it is, and one reason they have the cards when it comes to tariffs, which there's some interesting things going on with at the moment, which we're not going to talk about in this daily market update because we've got a lot to talk about already. One reason the United States is as dominant as it is because of its tech companies. Your Googles, your Amazons, your Facebooks, your Snapchats, your whatever it may be. You know, these all derive out of the United States. Predominantly Silicon Valley are all funded by the sort of same circle of individuals that happen to be in the Web3 space. But they want to extend that with crypto. And other nations needs to compete, otherwise they're going to lose relevancy. Certainly fiscal relevancy or monetary relevancy. I did a great interview with Rob Allen, who's working with the Reserve Bank of Australia, which is the central bank in Australia, on Project Acacia. And we really spoke about how every nation, if they have their own sovereign currency, needs to adopt this technology or they're going to get dollarized. And that's something that they need to try to resist, because having your own currency does bring a basket of benefits. In most cases, in some, actually, it does make sense to dollarize. And I think we are going to see that. And that's the clear agenda. You know, this technology is going to succeed for so many reasons. This is one. And actually, he's talking about the Clarity Act. They've obviously broken up over August. Everyone breaks up over August. It's why your markets are lackluster. Certainly the crypto markets are quite retail focused. We are now getting back to business, guys. You are setting up for a sensational end to the year. The stuff that I'm finding out, going all the way back to 2012 in regards to who was working on this technology, you're working alongside your companies like Ripple, you know, your Stellars, so on and so forth, your Ethereums. It's very telling in regards to these agencies, these individuals, these corporations have been working on this technology all the way from back then, and now it's at a stage where it's about to roll out. It's never been a better time to be a crypto investor, guys. Trust me on that. In line with regulatory clarity, this is from the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. Today, the SEC and CFTC issued a joint statement clarifying staff's views that the SEC and CFTC registered exchanges are not prohibited from facilitating the trading of certain spot commodity products. Now, that's interesting. This is a move towards your 90s, 2, 3 potentially now spot ETFs actually getting approved. This is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. The second post in this thread, this X post, is market participants should have the freedom to choose where they trade spot crypto assets. The SEC is committed to working with the CFTC to ensure that our regulatory frameworks support innovation and competition in these rapidly evolving markets, said the SEC's chairman, Mr. Paul Atkins, previously at Securrency. They wrote a good piece actually just out the other day. The SEC's Division of Trading and Markets and the CFTC's Division of Market Oversight and Division of Clearing and Risk are coordinated efforts to facilitate the trading of certain spot crypto asset products on registered exchanges. This initiative is part of the SEC's Project Crypto and CFTC's Crypto Sprint, and it builds on the recommendations of the President's Working Group and Digital Asset Report, strengthening America's leadership in financial technologies. This is setting the way or clearing the way for your spot Bitcoin ETFs, or spot Bitcoin ETFs, spot crypto ETFs. We already have the spot Bitcoin ETF. I think we're just waiting for BlackRock to enter on some of them. I think for something, and I'll drop this for you guys now. I'm going to do a video on it later on, perhaps. Going on somebody's show to talk about this. Makes sense that BlackRock are going to certainly launch a Ripple or an XRP ETF because their head of digital assets literally worked at Ripple in 2017 and actually wrote a report where he gave a price prediction on it, which we'll save for a later video. Do become a subscriber for that. So this is their official press release. SEC and CFTC issued joint statement on trading of certain crypto spot assets products. This is from Caroline DeFarm. She's acting chair, I think, of the CFTC. Project Crypto and CFTC's Crypto Sprint is now leading the way on digital asset regulations. Last week in Asia, I said America is back and we welcome innovators and entrepreneurs to invest, hire and build in the United States. The real opportunity, put very simply here, is you have a technological innovation that is going to change the world, right? It's not been allowed to do that yet. And it's going to very much do the same thing that the internet did, but for value and actually innovate the internet itself. Talk about digital property rights and things like that. We can go down so many rabbit holes. And to really stress just how wide netted this technology is in regards to what it's going to do. And we're at a stage right now where it's not even been allowed to do that. And you're getting in now before the floodgates literally open. And it sometimes winds me up when people are, I get the frustration in crypto, so on and so forth, but you're really not seeing the bigger picture. And I think this is where, as human beings, including myself, we often fail. We get so sort of wound up about certain things that are really small in regards to the grand scheme of things. And actually, I think that's often done deliberately by our governments and media and things like that to kind of keep us in that, stressed out environment or feeling. This is really interesting. So treasury companies are, if you look at what MicroStrategy did for Bitcoin, it essentially made it deflationary. And I think some of the treasury companies could do that with certain cryptocurrencies. It's going to be interesting for some of them. Some you have big escrow unlocks and things like this, but they're certainly going to take supply off the table at a time when ETFs are likely going to come to fruition. At a time when I think we're going into a retail kind of feeding frenzy. There's this kind of tri-pronged approach or scenario that we're going into for many cryptocurrencies. And you guys will be familiar with this cheeky chappy. He's got a great smile, a very cheeky smile. Not sure where we're going on that. Hong Kong listed Yunfeng Financial, affiliated with Alibaba's co-founder Jack Ma, has purchased 10,000 Ethereum. It's becoming an Ethereum treasury company. This is interesting, and we're yet to really see the floodgates open. I think Bitcoin still has more floodgates to open, but I think people are going to look for yield elsewhere. And obviously, I own a couple of ETH treasury companies. I own a couple of. Do become a Patreon, guys. You will unlock. There's one that I'm loading up on today in terms of an actual other crypto treasury company, a crypto that no one talks about yet. It's the second largest issuer of stablecoins. You'll be able to guess what it is by that. I wanted to talk about Alibaba. We're long. Because this is what we would look at as phase one. And this is now your phase two, which is an uptrend that you're going to continue. Markets move in a textbook fashion. We'll teach you all of that. We just released our cup and handle course, which should give you confidence in regards to where the total market cap is heading. You're going to do that course. You're going to know exactly what I see and why I think the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, is heading to $6.3 trillion. You've got room for some pretty sensational gains for your altcoins. So this is interesting news. This cheeky chap is an affiliate company of them is actually now buying Ethereum. And of course, this is not just in the region of the United States, it's further afield. And the world is really yet to embrace this technology. Again, talking to that opportunity that we have at hand. This is interesting. Duncan Moyer, we're a big fan of Duncan. Obviously, he's the president of 21 Shares. Congratulations to the House of Doge, Dogecoin Foundation, and Clean Core team on the fantastic launch. 21 Shares is pumped to be selected as the asset manager and help deliver value for investors. This is from the Doge Foundation, the House of Doge Foundation, and Clean Core Solutions launched 175 million Doge Treasury. This is called Zone. Should we try and find this? I wonder how this went yesterday. Zone, where are we? Clear Core Solutions Incorporated. Could be. It's interesting. A lot of these treasury companies were just like dead holding companies, and then they've obviously rallied on Doge. Could be a bounce coming here. This isn't the treasury company we're buying, but another one enters the scene, if you will. Just quickly, when it comes to Bitcoin, we think everything is perfect in regards to the stage being set. I think one of the main or the most bullish charts for me is Bitcoin dominance and the fact that we think this is now in a sort of phase 4 downtrend. And that's ultimately a good time for assets broadly, not just crypto. You could apply that to the environment the S&P and things are going to be in. And you've just got September really to get through, in my opinion. There's a lot going on macroeconomically. You've got the sort of ruling that tariffs are illegal or whatever going on. Not sure how that all works. Not sure how that's all going to get resolved. Lots of don't knows on that. Trump obviously saying that the stock market is suffering at the helms of that, which is interesting. You've got a real debt issue across the board in the sense that nobody wants to buy the debt now. And I think the bigger picture with this is actually there's a global monetary change happening. And crypto is very much a part of that. You know, Bitcoin really allowed us to question the systems, the financial systems that we use, and has evolved it through distributed ledger technology. And now we're at a stage where we're kind of going, well, hang on, why is everyone stuffed to the gills with things that the government print and they're going to continue to print, and there's no sort of path out of that really, in my opinion, other than continued debasement? Why are we holding on to this? There's alternatives, and now we're moving on to this internet of value. There's more access to it, or going to be, and I think this is why you see sort of what you see with gold. I think silver is looking to make a move to sort of $300 then $600. We've been saying that for a long time, and actually, interestingly, the UK, well, I'm here in the UK, so we're covering it, has weeks to solve the fiscal puzzle as it sets a date for the autumn budget. Get ready to be stung, guys. We're already getting stung. You know, I employ people. It's getting to the stage now where actually I don't want to employ people in the UK because it's just so much more expensive. You know, you're talking, it's almost nearly double what I'm going to be paying someone if I can get their business or company to do the work abroad. It's sad what's happening in the UK, and it's deliberate. Don't think that these guys are just that thick, that all the catastrophe they're causing is just, we didn't realise that was going to be the result. No, this is deliberate for your demise. That's it from me, ladies and gentlemen, to leave on that sobering note. The positive note here is crypto can change your life and provide you freedoms, financial freedom, so that if you wanted to escape a kind of gaslighting government, you perhaps could. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. We do love you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all in the next one.